out there? Are you awake? Are you hungry? Are you concerned finally about the future of our city? Well, you're in good company. You're listening to Petals and Thorns on KKBN, the news and sounds of Bucharest by night. I am the Deadly Rose, the masterfully melodramatic, majestically magnetic, meticulous maestro of the airwaves, welcoming you to the only show made by Kindred for Kindred. Unless you just joined the ranks of the undead, you've been in torpor or out of town until tonight, it is unlikely that you haven't heard the rumor, spreading like wildfire. We have a new sheriff. That's right, Bucharest, the man is out and, drumroll please, Mr. Dominic Serrano, the prince's very own bodyguard, stepped up and took over that heavy mantle. Normally it is not enough to just survive the night, my dear fledglings. You'd have to be vying for blood, territory, some crumb of power, evade supernatural and natural foes alike, and make it back to your haven in one piece before sunrise, but also stay ahead of the game by being informed of what all the other vampires are doing. But that's what this show is for, to keep you informed, so if you're surprised, shocked, scared, well, that's on you for not listening close enough. For if you had paid attention, you'd know, as I've mentioned this, that Dominic opposed his predecessor ever since his arrival in the city, so this outcome isn't exactly that surprising. Now, there are two issues that should burn your minds like white cold flames. 1. What the hell is Marie Claire thinking, appointing this sinister bastard as sheriff? Given his actions so far, it seems his policy is burn all bridges and too bad for those who can't leap across. To call him a nuisance would be an understatement, and that's coming from me, a kindred of respectable age who can handle himself. I fear for those of you who really can't, who have to submit to this man's authority and judgment, because really, there's nothing else you can do. I'm also wondering about the probably very confused hounds amongst deputies who have to deal with this situation. Only the blind could not tell that they followed him out of respect and admiration, while now they have to deal with his exact antithesis. And 2. I've said this before, more or less directly. I think Aman's plan for a Bucharest united under a fair Camarilla was ludicrous, a dream of an idealistic, overly optimistic Toreador. So here we are, just as predicted, with this agenda seemingly forgotten, replaced by a guy who's hell-bent on scorching the earth. So do you hear me now, Bucharest? Are you paying attention? There is no equality, no fairness, and no freedom, not under the ivory tower's boot. Be that a delicate one made in Paris. I may be wrong, hopefully I am, but it seems like there will be no peaceful takeover, no smooth transition, so if you haven't chosen sides so far, tread carefully. Another piece of news, bittersweet this time. The third Baron has fallen, and unsurprisingly because of their own pride and ego. Last night, led by the new sheriff, the Coterie of Hounds descended upon Valeria's haven, eliminating over a dozen of her men and, as I hear it, taking her and taking her captive. She's been a thorn in everyone's side since the 70s, starting out as one of the very loud voices of the anarch movement. Her greatest sin not being the hypocrisy of living like a queen while spewing bullshit about equality, though that's a big one, but being a ruthless informant in life and unlife alike, responsible for countless deaths of honorable mortals and kindred who would oppose the communist/anarch regime. You'd think that her being neutralized would be a good thing, and it is, as I said, sweet. But here's the bitter part. With her out of the way, the Camarilla now has control over half the city, and with the aforementioned direction of kindred politics as dictated by the prince, this may be cause for alarm. Bah, it isn't like me to sound so grim and serious. Perhaps I worry for nothing, and truth be told, half of what I said is indeed just speculation. Anything is possible, and you should know that by now, being that you yourself are unliving creatures with magical powers. That being said, what a better time than not to spice up your existence, my lovelies. So, until we know for certain what the future holds, I say, Savor the night, Bucharest. Savor the night.